This episode of On the Line is presented to you by Living.fit, your one stop for all your fitness needs. Make sure you go download the app Living.fit today. Now here's the show. Welcome to On the Line. Today we are joined by the fastest player in NFL history. He has a whole lot of records, but it's Chris Johnson. Chris, so first things first, I got to ask is, I know you don't play anymore. You don't want to play anymore, but did you feel disrespected that Mike Vrabel didn't at least reach out to you when Derrick Henry went down?
Oh, no, I didn't. I have been retired for 3 years. When those guys make those type of moves and stuff, they do their due diligence and stuff like that. And I just think a lot of people like, yeah, you and AP all the same age, this and that. But where a lot of people don't understand, AP's been playing every year. Like, I've been retired for 3 years. He's still been playing. So it made a lot more sense to get a guy that has been active. Like, I haven't even been to a practice in over 3 years. So I didn't feel no type of way at all.
How long would it take you to get back? Theoretically, if you were ever to get back into the field, like, how long would it take you? Like, month, 2 months, couple weeks?
It would take a while.
It would take a while.
Oh. Sure, like, getting in football shape, like, that's hard. Like, it'll take a while. Like, if I was like, you know what, I want to give it a go. Like, Like, it would take a whole off season. Like, it'll take a whole off season. Me getting my body right. Me, everything. I have to do everything, not just working out, like just everything as far as eating right, getting with trainers and, getting my body worked on, all that type of stuff. It'll take all that.
It's a little too much to come back. So, and I mean, it could have been, and then when Derrick came back, could have been smash and dash 2.0. But anyway, let's move on. This is. I want to start with the most disrespectful question I could come up with. Who is the team every year you looked forward to playing the most because you knew you'd at least get 100 yards?
What team was that? Well,
it was Houston. It was Houston and Jacksonville, because I would assume it's Houston and Jacksonville.
I love playing Houston. I love playing Jacksonville, and of course those was the and of course those was divisional games. But I used to love playing against Buffalo.
Oh, like I said, when I was looking at the stats, I was kind of like, I wonder which one he's going to say, because you dominated Buffalo. They couldn't do anything to you. This is also when they were still, not very good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very happy though you didn't say Indy, because I grew up. I was a Colts fan, and like I always want. I'm a Colts fan, so I wanted to hate you, but I couldn't because you were so much fun to watch. You were so good, and like you won me fantasy leagues and all this other kind of stuff. But in your heart though, how much did you hate Indianapolis? Because they're in the division. That's when they had Peyton Manning, but also Peyton stole your MVP.
Yeah, man, he stole my MVP, man. And then, we had to play them twice a year, having to play against Peyton, man. Peyton was amazing just to sit back and watch. So it was always like, playing against the Colts when Peyton was there, we're going to have to outscore them. Every time we play them, we got to outscore them or whatever, because Peyton, he's going to score. They're going to put out their points or whatever. But it was a sight to see. But it definitely was a team that we hated to have to play twice a year.
Was there never mind, I'm not gonna ask that. I was gonna ask, is there every year like where you're like, there's like no chance we could beat them, but like obviously every game you go into thinking like, yeah, we're gonna kick their ass or we're gonna beat them, like we have a chance, yada 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 yada. But earlier today I was kind of doing last minute research, kind of looking for like other little things I'd ask you about. Did you know that the NFL Films ranked you as the 10th fastest player in NFL history?
I think I've seen something like that one time.
That's such bullshit.
August. What? Like,
that's some bullshit.
How do you have a person like, and I think when that came out, that was before John Ross broke the record. But how do you have a person with the fastest ever 40 time ever, and you rank them as 10th most ever? Like, that don't make sense. Like, I don't get it.
Doesn't make any sense. And then also, you were never caught from behind. Once you got into a seam, you were out. No one could take you. It doesn't matter what angle they took. You were gone. You were scoring a touchdown.
It never really mattered.
No,
I was always, but I feel like when it comes to the speed aspect of things, I think a lot of people have their personal preferences and stuff like that. But when you look at it and you put all the facts and all that, ain't no way I can be 10th fastest. Like, I got to be the top two. Like, I don't get it.
Just disrespectful, man. Well, it's the NFL. They should be hyping you up. This is some bullshit. But I do want to ask. So, like, you again, as we said, you have the record for the most scrimmage yards ever, 2,508. If anyone were to ever break that record, do you think it's Mickey Mouse because they have an extra game?
Say it again. It's 2,509, but you
2,509. Oh, 1 yard. Sorry.
Almost yards. Come on. But
no, is it Mickey Mouse if someone ever breaks it? Like, they have an extra game now. You did it in 16. They're gonna do it in what, 17? That's not fair.
It is what it is. Like, I say that because you got to think, when you talk about the 2,000-yard club, you got OJ that did it in 14 games. Know what I'm saying? So if he was to be like, oh, you got it in 16 games, that's Mickey Mouse. Nah, it ain't. That's still not hard. It don't matter. So, like, even now, like, shoot, they done had this year. I don't think it's nobody that's going to break the record. If Derrick Henry wouldn't have got hurt, he probably would have broke it. But it ain't Mickey Mouse. It was like he was having an amazing year. So even for somebody, if somebody can get 2,500 yards in a season, it ain't no way it's Mickey Mouse. I don't care if you do it in 17 games. It ain't Mickey Mouse.
Okay, so one thing I want to
even when I say it now, like, it really don't hit me because a lot of people talk about 2,000 yards in the season, 2,000 yards. But when you really sit back and think, like, a player had 2,500 yards in one season, that's crazy. I think that right there alone should get me in the Hall of Fame. 2,500.
Like, no one's come close. You're what? You're like, I think you're like 200 yards more than anyone else behind you. But, like, what even? Yeah. What's the gold standard going to be now? It's like, I think 2,000. It's not obviously going to become like the 4,000, 5,000 passing yards. Like, what's the new gold standard going to be?
For what? For rushing yards?
Yeah, because I feel like obviously we got 17 now. We got 17 games now, and they're going to get 18 like within the next couple of years. So, like, what is the new gold standard going to be for these guys that are going into like these 17 and 18-yard games, 17, 18 games?
I don't know, because, like, you can't even say 2,000 is a standard. Like, 2,000 is just amazing. Like, guys, like, you got to think these days with how the game is, like, they passing and running, whatever. Well, a guy rushed for 1,200 yards, they automatically saying this guy is, he's the best thing. He's the best thing. Like, so I'm not even sure what the standard is now. Like, I know when I was playing, when all, like, the LTs, the Clinton Port, like, all those guys, Emmett, Barry, all them, like, the standard back then was 1,500-1,600. That was the standard back then, but these days it doesn't change. Like, sometimes you got guys like, they might run for 1,000 yards. They might catch for 300-400 yards, and look, they finna get a new deal. You know what I'm saying? It's different these days because it's trying to turn to a passing league. So I can't even sit here and say 2,000 is a standard, because that just don't happen.
You got to be able to catch out of the backfield, like, which is like the scrimmage yards. You got to. I feel like that's going to be the more important stat going forward, is the scrimmage yards, which is good for you in the Paul Fame case.
Yeah. You got to be able to motion out wide, do some routes, catch the ball and stuff like that. But it's gonna be hard. Like, it's gonna be hard for some. I ran for 2,000 yards and I caught for 500 yards. So it's hard. Like, I can't even say that's the standard, because that stuff just don't happen.
No, it doesn't. It really doesn't.
I feel like standard is like, okay, to be a starting back in the run, to be a starting running back in the NFL, you have to at least rush for 1,000 yards.
So here's a weird question. So, like, when let's say you get you have like, do you think it's almost not bad to get 2,000 yards? Like if you're like on a rookie deal, but with the way they kind of like dispose backs, do you think if you're a guy like that, you kind of want to, I don't know, consistently get like 1,000, 1,200 yards and maybe not, it sounds really dumb, but I feel like you want to get another contract, but I feel like they don't want to overpay.
They don't. You know what you're talking about. Listen, the guys that do, like, the guys that get in the league and they do okay, and then around year 4 or 5, they go crazy. Those are the guys that stay in the league the longest and get paid the most. When you so good so early in your career, you set the bar here. So like if you don't do what you've been doing those years, they automatically say you fell off. And guess what? Once it go around, they like, oh no, we can't pay this guy no more, or we gotta start looking for somebody to replace him because he's falling off. Look at Zeke.
Yeah.
Zeke. Even though Zeke is not putting up the 1,600 yard seasons no more, and if he come in at 1,200, they're gonna say he fell off. So now they want to try to replace him, and he'll no longer. But if Zeke would have been rushing for 800, 900, 1,100, and then he come out of nowhere and do a 1,400 year 4, year 5, they're like, oh, he's on the way up. Look, perfect example, Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon never had 1,000 yards, and I think he came 1 year and rushed for like 1,100, 1,200 or something. Signed a $40 million deal. Now he's just, you know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't gonna say that's the goal because I'm the type, I want to come in and be that guy from my rookie year on up. You know what I'm saying? But if you look at it and you pay attention, and it's crazy that you said that. Me and my boy, Lindell White, we done had this conversation at least 15 times, and we always talk about it. He be like, man, listen, if I go back and just stayed in there and then hit my peak around year 4 or 5, the greatest ever.
Dude, shit, think of all the money too. Sheesh.
Yeah.
How is Lindell? I was going to ask about that later. How's Lindell?
Oh, he good. Yeah, he good. Just chilling.
He's okay. So I was gonna ask later too. Like I was gonna set this up. Like, who's the funniest teammate? Why was it Lindell White? Was he actually the funniest teammate you ever had?
Yeah, he's off the chain. Lindell is. Yeah.
What was your favorite excuse when he was like? I know he was kind of notorious for being late. What was your favorite excuse you ever had when he showed up late to a meeting?
Lindell?
Yeah.
Oh no, I know the one time I had that interview. I guess he had to put over use the bathroom or whatever like that. But it wasn't just like that type of stuff. Just like, man, he always have the whole room, running back room, meeting, whatever. He always have everybody laughing, and you know what I'm saying?
He's just one of those guys. I know exactly what you're saying. Yeah, just everyone. It doesn't matter what he says. It's just funny as hell.
Yeah. Like if you having a bad day or just whatever, like he's the type of person that can come in the room and brighten up the room and all that type of stuff. He's really a real good guy, man.
Oh yeah. So this is another kind of weird question. If you haven't told, my brain works really weird. But like, so obviously you hold that record year, the record year, near and dear to your heart. But what was more satisfying to you? Was it that year, or is it the year he came back with the Cardinals after being shot?
I would say that year was great, but yeah, after I made my comeback, man, it was just different because I know what all I went through and what I had to do to get back in the league. Like before I even, me and my agent, we sat down and we came up with a plan. Before I even tried to, and it wasn't like just out of the league like that, like all that stuff happened. Free agency came, and it happened like a few days before free agency. So at this point, I'm shot. I'm injured. Nobody ain't finna pick nobody up that's injured, especially in free agent. So I had to get myself back together before I could even think about getting back into the league. So I had to get healthy. I had to be my right hand. I couldn't use my whole right hand for at least like 4 or 5 months. So, no catching. I couldn't even write. None of that shit. Like, so I had to get myself together. And that was like one of the hardest things I ever had to do in my life. Like, not being able to use my hand, it was hurting. Like, then from when I got shot, I broke like my collarbone. I broke my shoulder bone. I broke like 2 ribs. So I'm going through all that. And I'm not with a team. So it's like, shit, I'm not at a team. So I'm not getting all the great care of in the NFL and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So what I did, shit, I moved to LA. Went out there with Jay Glazer. And, you know, I just got to work. I blocked everything out, working out, doing tour days, getting myself back together. I think I had dropped down to like 180 pounds. After that happened, dropped down to 180 pounds. So getting that all the way back to right, getting my hand back right. I was doing tour days, and then I was doing therapy after that. Like, I was doing therapy like 3 times a week or whatever. So once I got myself back in shape, you know what I'm saying, gained all my weight back, I dropped down to 180. I actually got back all the way back up to 207 all muscle. 207 all muscle. Got all that together. Then once I got together, then I got back in the lead. And then the year I think I was like 2nd or 3rd in the league in rushing. I was having a real good year. I ended up getting hurt the same year. But yeah, that year was amazing for me. I was just so happy to be playing football. I was just so happy playing football.
The craziest thing about it too is, like, we were talking about this earlier, kind of like how you don't want to start like, you had the 2,000 yards your second year or whatever, and then you had like 14 whatever, and then the next year you had 800, and then everyone's like, oh, he's done, he's written off. Then you come back after being shot and you get 1,300 yards. It's just like, one bad year doesn't mean he's written off, and just because he's not getting 2,000 yards every year doesn't mean he's not like done.
The thing is, when I started, like, even in Tennessee, like when I was starting back, I never rushed for under 1,000 yards. My first 6 years that I had 1,000 yards every year. Like, you can't mention, I don't know what back that you can mention right now today. When I sit here and wait, I don't think it's a back that you can mention that have had 6 back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing season. I guarantee you can't name more than 3 or 4.
It's only a handful that can keep that health, keep that consistency, and get that many touches. There's not many. It's very rare. Right. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, and then I end up going to the Jets. Me and Chris Henry.
That was like Chris, a 2008, like that, like that was like a 2009, 2010 like super team. It was like 4 years kind of delayed. It was like you, Mike Vick, Eric Decker, yeah. Percy Harvin.
Yeah, all those guys. So yeah, like me and him, we split the backfield. We split the carries. I think I had close to 700 yards that year, something like that. But I only had probably like 120, 130 carries, whatever like that. Then, I had a 1-year deal there. So I was finna hit free agency or whatever, and then that's when I got shot, and then ended up going to Arizona or whatever. But man, it is what it is. I got my 10 years in the league and just living life now.
It's hard for a running back nowadays to say they played for 10 years. What was the hardest thing to do with your hand? I feel like there's so many natural habits like you have, just like naturally doing it with your hand, whether it be like, I know, scratching your face, like as guys, you scratch our crotch, like things like that, where you go down there and scratch and like, oh, your hand just starts burning on fire.
Yeah, burning on fire. So what was the hardest thing for me is like, I couldn't use it at all, like nothing.
What'd you do to like keep yourself from doing anything? Like, would you like wrap it or?
Because it was burning and throbbing so bad. I don't know if you ever heard of anybody that happened to, but like it was just that bad. Like I wouldn't touch nothing with it. Like I would, like if somebody see me and like it's usually what's up, everything was left hand. Like I think the hardest thing for me with that was I had to teach myself how to write with my left hand or whatever. And then after that, like what made it real bad for me was I couldn't get a full night sleep.
That was the next thing I was gonna say. I feel like it would have been impossible to sleep with that thing.
Yeah, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep at all with it, like at all. Like sometimes if I fall asleep, I might fall asleep for a few hours and like I'm back up or whatever like that. Like that was the worst part with me, like sleep. I couldn't sleep. So eventually, like I went out to LA. I went out to LA, and then when I went out there, I met with a therapist or whatever, and we started going through therapy and stuff like that, doing different band workouts in oil. You know how people do the oil healing?
Yeah.
I did. That's what she did with me. And eventually, it started getting better and better and better and better. And then after that, I started back because I couldn't lift weights. Nah, for real, I couldn't lift weights.
Yeah. Could you do legs? Like just do a shit ton of leg extensions and leg curls?
Like I was doing like a lot of, I was doing a lot of legs, a lot of squats. I was able to squats because they got the thing it goes over your neck and you could just put your arms up like this and go over. So I didn't have to grab it with my hand. But I really like I couldn't even do push-ups or nothing. Like so as it started to get better and better, I started able to doing push-ups, stuff like that. And then after that, once it started getting better, I started back catching, and then I started back lifting. So once I got all that together, like I was ready to go.
How cool is Jake Glazer?
Jake Glazer, that's my guy, man. I don't care what nobody say about him. That's my guy, and that'll forever be my guy. Like when that shit happened, and I went out there, man. He took me in, and he looked out for me, man. He told me, he like, man, listen, you gonna come here? He like, I'm gonna put you through hell. He said, it's up to you. Either you gonna get through it, or you gonna quit and just give up. And he put me through hell, and listen, nothing gonna beat me. I don't care what it was, like, nothing gonna beat me. So I ended up going out there, getting back right, and then I ended up signing.
I love the Jake Glazer, and I doubt he ever asked you to race, but obviously in the day, and probably to this day, you probably have a bunch of people calling you out, most notably Rajon Rondo, a cheetah called you out. Out of all the call outs, do you think, what was like the most disrespectful call out of someone thinking that they were faster than you?
The most disrespectful.
Or you're just like, bro, come on.
I'm trying to see whoever called. I don't think many people called, but yeah, when Rondo called me, I ain't gonna say it was disrespectful. Yeah, I was just surprised. I was like, Rondo? Like, but I know what it was. I got a homeboy that I grew up with that's from Orlando that was playing with the Celtics at the time, Marquise Daniels, and they cool. So, it probably was locker room talk. And Keith, he called me and told me. I was like, man, what? Yeah, but yeah, then too many people called me out, but I know Rondo was one of them.
Did you? I know. So like, obviously, like, let's say you go out or you do whatever. There's probably people come up to you like at the club, bar, anywhere. Like, I bet I could beat you in a race.
Yeah,
have you ever just stopped everything you're doing? I'm like, all right, dude, come on, see me in the parking lot. Let's do this. No, never did it. Never did it. Okay. Do you still have the 4.24 chain?
Nah, I actually don't. I said if somebody broke the record, I'd get rid of it.
Did you sell it to charity, or what'd you do with it? Who has it?
No, I got rid of it. I had got another piece made, like broke it down. Used some of the diamonds and stuff like that.
Okay. What'd you turn it into?
I think I had turned it into like a money bag or something like that.
Okay. And this is a little weird question, but I know going into the draft, you thought you were going to run a 4.25. In prep, did you ever run anything faster than the 4.24? In
prep?
Yeah, when you're preparing for it.
Because everything was stopwatch, but at junior day, when I was in Carolina, I ran a 4.18.
4.18?
Yeah, 4.18 at junior day.
Jesus, that's fast as hell.
Yeah.
Why don't you ever see that? Why is that number never anywhere?
Because all those numbers that be stopwatch. All that don't nothing. That's what I'm saying. People be saying they ran 40 this, they did this. Like, don't none of that count unless you do it on the right stage. You gotta do it at the combine. Like, don't nothing count until you do it at the combine. So it don't matter to me. Like, people be like, oh, this guy ran a 4.21 or 4.22 or 4.23 at his pro day. That shit don't matter. They use a stopwatch. You gotta
They stop it a little early. They always stop it a little early to get that number down a little bit.
Yeah, you gotta run the electronic. That's just like in high school. You go to some meets. I know, especially when I was in high school. I don't know how it is now, but in some meets, you got a stopwatch meet. Some meets you got electronic meets. So when it came down to like the championship time, like districts, regionals, states, all that, you're not allowed to turn in a hand time. You know what I'm saying? You're not able to turn in stopwatch time. You got to turn in your latest electronic time or your fastest electronic time around championship time. So shit, I always looked at it that way. Like, that's the only accurate time is electronic.
So in the past, I know you've said that Jeff Fisher was your favorite coach on a podcast. And I know you also talked about the time after a game in St. Louis, you're like, you could tell on your face you were all beaten. So he gave you a week off from practice. How many times did you try after that game to give that same look so they can get off from practice that week?
No, I was a guy, I never really liked taking practice off. Yeah, I love the practice. The only reason why that happened, because he just gave it to me. And he didn't come and ask me. Like, he just told me, like, you're not practicing this week. Just be ready. That's what it was. So yeah, I never really liked to take a week off, take practices off.
In retrospect, you kind of wish you did take practices off to kind of help with longevity of the body, or is it just like, screw it, I did what I did? No regrets?
Nah, yeah, I did what I did. I played 10 years, man. Like, it is what it is. Like, I never really, yeah, when I look back, yeah, I always wanted to practice. I always wanted to practice on my game. Like, look at the film, see what I did good, see what I did bad, see what I get better at. And the only way to fix it, the only way to get better, I felt, was going out that week, practicing, getting better, and putting the previous week, no matter if it was a 200-yard game or a 40-yard game, I put it behind me. Put it behind me and just get better.
So the rumor was you're going to be a Steeler, and you confirmed this on another podcast. Another guy who was on the team, you're like, oh, I was supposed to be a Steeler, and it all kind of got taken apart from the claustrophobia, all that. Like, you don't have to retell the story. Looking back on that pre-draft process and going through that, was there any other teams you think looking back are like, oh, they wanted to take me, or did another team say like, we were going to take you at this certain spot, or is that kind of the only thing you were aware of?
To answer your question, no, I'm not sure. See, with me, I always knew, I think the day before the draft, Ernest Biner was my running back coach. Ernest Biner played at East Carolina. He played running back at East Carolina. But I didn't know this until he came and worked me out in Orlando, down at Disney Wild Rose Spring. He came and worked me out or whatever. And just throughout that process, some coaches stay in contact with you and all that type of stuff. So he called me. He called me the day before the draft. And he like, man, we really like you, man. He like, sure, if you make it to pick 24, we gonna take you. Talking about the Titans. He like, we gonna take you. So I'm like, man, okay. But it wasn't nothing in my head like, oh yeah, I know I'm going there. Like, I wanted to go before the other running backs. Like, I wanted to go early, but even when that pick came up, I went like, I know I'm finna go. Like, I took it in one ear and not the other. Like, because a lot of teams, they tell you, like, we like you. We probably gonna take you, this and that. You just don't know until it happens. So I'm just sitting there chilling, whatever, boom.
Did anyone ask you to switch positions?
What, in the NFL?
Like in the draft process, did someone come up, because I mean, you were fast as hell. I'm like, did everyone be like, do you want to switch to receiver? Did anyone ever come up with that?
No, they seen what I can do. They seen I was a dog. They seen what I was doing. So yeah, 615 pop up. I still ain't paying it no mind. Like, I don't know who. Like, so I answer the phone, and yeah, Jeff Fisher on the phone. So I'm like, yeah, it's going down.
Love to hear it. No, I was kind of I was kind of surprised. I feel like the speed and everything. I feel like at least one or two teams that were just dumb as hell are like, yeah, we want you to go play receiver. We like your speed. We want you to be on the edge and just run as fast as you can up the sidelines, and we'll throw you a nice little deep ball.
Nah. That's why I don't want to change. I don't want to change the game of football, like in that aspect. Like, yeah, back in days, third down back, this and that, but now you got 200 pounds this fast. Now we want to bring him in to BI every down back. That ain't happened before me. You know what I'm saying? Now I get in the league, I do what I do. Now that's a trend now. Mm-hmm. That's a trend.
Trendsetter. Yeah. You're also one of the first guys I feel like too who really caught the ball out of the backfield too. That was another thing. You were kind of you started. You're kind of that first guy to really do. Not you didn't just run the ball. You caught the ball out of the backfield and did other stuff like that. And now you see you to be an everyday back. You have to be able to catch the football.
Yeah. I used to see guys like Brian Westbrook. Those guys like run there and catch the ball out of the backfield a lot. What was the other guy? Priest Holmes. He used to catch a lot of screens out of the backfield and stuff like that.
LT did.
LT did. LT did. But I feel like LT, he was a different type of back than Brian Westbrook and stuff like that. Like, but yeah, I used to pay attention to a lot of those guys.
Want to once again thank the sponsor of the show, Living.fit. It's that time of the year again, and Living.fit is your spot to help achieve all those New Year resolutions. Living.fit is a health and wellness company that will help you achieve all your goals, from building muscle, losing fat, and maybe trimming up that dad bod you've been accumulating over the years. Not only are there workout programs, we can help with your nutrition and build out your home gym. If you're a trainer looking to get certified in kettlebell or battle rope movements, we're the place to be. Make sure you go visit the website or download the app Living.fit today. Now back to the show. So this is now the dumbest question kind of segment. This is where just like really basic stuff, and it's just really easy. Nothing too crazy. I know you're boys with Lil Wayne. What's more fun? What's a better experience? The NFL club experience or a club experience with Lil Wayne?
What you mean an NFL club experience?
Like it's just all your boys on the team. Like no other celebrities, just NFL boys. Like which one?
Both of them cool. It's a different vibe because it's like you with your boys, you with your brothers. Like it depends if you talking about my boys that like I played on the team with, hanging out and stuff like that. Man, these my brothers, so we hanging. Or rather if it's just like say a Super Bowl weekend and it's just a lot of different people from that's in the NFL on different teams and stuff like that. Like it'd be cool, but hanging with Tunchi, man, it's a vibe, man.
When was the last time you talked
hanging
to him?
with my boy. Man, last time I talked to Tunchi was it's probably been about 6 months, 8 months. Sometimes I seen him and Live down in Miami. Last time I talked to him.
Gotta reach out, say what's up.
Yeah, I have him. People be busy, but everybody be having their own stuff going on. I usually reach out from time to time.
Yeah. So obviously, you kicked ass in the pros, but I know you've said you looking back on it, you've been telling a lot of people, don't be a running back, go be a receiver. Have you kind of stayed true with that with your kids? I know you trying to get your kids to be your receiver. You don't want them to be running backs, or did they kind of just follow suit like you?
Yeah, nah, they ain't gonna. I'm gonna try my best to get them to play receiver or corner or something like that.
Are they playing corner and receiver, or are they following dad and being a running back?
They play everything. Running back, receiver, cornerback, they play everything. And it's youth football, so it's different. Like
play everything.
by the time they get close to going to high school, then I really, really mold them into the corner or receiver position.
And so I know everyone always asks you like who your favorite running back is, like, or who like your top 5 backs are. Who is the running back do you think doesn't get enough credit? Like he's the best running back that no one ever talks about.
That's playing right now?
That's playing right now.
Just saying period. We don't get enough credit. I was saying up until this year when Derrick was doing, he wasn't getting enough credit. Like he had to run for 2,000 yards and do all that to get credit. He wasn't getting credit.
No, he wasn't. No, I remember because he beat the shit out of the Colts. He just run all over us and it just sucked. And I hated watching it.
Yeah.
Who about in general then? Who in general?
Who in general?
Yeah, because I feel like you had someone in mind for just someone just in general. Who's just never.
Chrisjohnson.
That's a blast from the past. He was good as hell. He's really good.
It was real good. He don't get credit. I feel like Woodstock should have been in the Hall of Fame already. Fred Taylor.
Oh yeah. There's so many running backs. You just go back into like the early 2000s. Just what was it? Even like the Chiefs had like a factory. It was like you had Priest, then you had Larry Johnson, then you had Jamal Charles. Like they just had like a line of like these 3 incredible backs. Then like Titans got like Eddie George, Derrick Henry, shit. I mean, just all over the place. So many good running backs. I feel like it's kind of get lost in the fold.
Yeah. That's how it be.
That's how it be. What was the hardest thing about retirement? Like year 1, what was the hardest thing for you?
Just figuring it out. Like, when you playing, like, you on a schedule. So every part of your day is planned out for you. Like when you playing, I wake up, I get to work, I eat, go to meetings, work out, or practice. After practice, work out. After all that, meetings again, then training room, then go home, study film, then wake up the next day, do it all again. It's same exact routine every single day. And then you retire and it's like, wake up and do what? It's like, I'm chilling, like nothing to do. So I think what a lot of people don't understand is like, just our athletes in general, when we retire, we young. Like most NFL guys retire within the age, like the ones that play like a long time, like retire within like the age of 30 to maybe I say 34, like within that range. And like, don't nobody like in the real world retire at that age. So it's like you still young, you still like, it's just basically like what you gonna do next. Like life ain't on the schedule no more. So it's just like getting up like what's next, basically.
And that's why you now have the coffee shop.
Yeah, but sure, I just opened that and it's 3 years later since I retired. So
what'd you do? Hey, never hurts. What'd you do? I mean, you gotta take a year or 2 off just chilling right after just 30 years of just nonstop football.
Yeah. So just when I retired, I was chilling a lot. Basically.
I have an idea for your coffee shop, by the way. I've been waiting to say this, and this is just marketing idea. Coffee memes are all the meme. They're all the rage on Twitter. Everyone loves coffee memes. I think you should hire like a little 20-year-old intern at some random college near you and just have them just post memes and stuff all for your coffee shop. I think it would explode sales.
They got coffee memes. Hold on, explain that again.
They got memes just all for people who love coffee. Like coffee memes are like all the rage right now. I'm not even kidding.
You should help me out with that. So they just create coffee memes all day and just post them?
Yeah.
Hey, you got to help me out. You going to help me out with that.
I will help you out with that. We'll set something up here. We'll get some coffee memes going. We'll help the business.
Hey, call my boy Joe. Put something together. I find somebody to give him an internship at the coffee shop, and we get that going together. That sounds like, I don't know much about it, but you said that's something real big right now. So
people love their coffee. And and so I do have one more question before we go into the next segment, and that is, I know Edgerrin James at one point cut his dreads because someone yanked on it. Did you ever consider cutting your dreads because someone yanked on them to tackle you? No. So how many times has people? I'm just out of curiosity. How many times, if you can even remember, do people yank on them?
It happened a lot of times. I remember one time I got yanked. One of them came out, but yeah, it happens. They right there. They trying to grab you.
That's kind of hurt like hell when it gets ripped out.
Yeah, it hurts.
All right. So that's all I got for the dumb question segment. So this is where I let my intern speak. I let him ask you a question. So this is how this works. If you like the question, you answer, and then we move on to another question. But if you don't like the question, you have to say you don't like the question, then we wrap this up. You got it?
All
right. Let's do it. Harry?
All right. So yeah, let's just get right into this. Me, like so many other college students right now, we're in the middle of finals week, and we're going back, looking towards memories that keep us happy and motivated during this time to make sure that we get through finals and continue to make those memories. So what was your favorite memory during your time at ECU? It could be football related, just something you did off campus, on campus, anything like that.
My favorite memory at ECU would be, them Saturdays. It's sad because when you're in college, especially if you're in a football town, like a college that love their football town, like Saturdays is just like a big party. Like, it's different.
Oh yeah.
That's what everybody care about. Only thing they care about was football on Saturday. And just be able to, go out there and walk in that stadium in front of all them fans and go out there and just play something that I love. It was just the atmosphere, man. Just being able to walk into that atmosphere, like, I don't think, they can't even imagine the feeling unless they ever even been through it. So that's pretty much probably like my best times at East Carolina. Like, sometimes if that atmosphere feels different than walking into an NFL field, the atmosphere is just different in college football.
Oh, I bet. It looks like an insane atmosphere there. Just the fans getting rowdy, players hyping up the fans, just getting on that field. It had to be just ridiculous.
It helps when you're good too, because everyone gets more excited.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah.
At IU, so we're both from IU, so we're not used to having good football. So we've never really gotten to experience what a good football team is like, or like the college experience. So
came close last year.
No, we came close.
Yeah. All right. So we're gonna move on. So you went on Ink Master in 2009, 2010 as a guest host. And so I just got to know, of all your tattoos, what would you say is your favorite and why?
My favorite one, I got actually 3 favorite now. My leg and on my neck. I got all my kids' pictures. Their face on me. So I got twin boys. I got one of them on each side, and then I got a daughter, and I got her picture on my leg. So those are my favorite tattoos.
Nice. Yeah, I makes sense. Got to keep them close. Yeah.
I follow up actually. I'm gonna steal this one. What's the one? What's the worst one that you have? You're like, shit, I should never have got that one.
Ooh.
The worst one?
If there is one, I know sometimes there isn't a bad one.
Where it was, I had one on my leg, but I got it covered up. I was young. I got a tattoo. Like, it didn't look very good. I ended up getting it covered. That probably was it.
It happens.
Yeah.
All right, next one, number 3.
All right, moving on. So when me and my little brother were little, we used to play the backyard football games all the time. And you were usually one of the players we drafted early on because, I mean, your dynamic speed, you were just unstoppable. So if you're going to create your own 5-a-side backyard football team of any player from NFL history, you got a blocker, quarterback, 2 wide receivers, and you. Who are you going with?
Blocker, I'll go Kevin Mowai. You say a blocker. What else?
Blocker,
quarterback,
QB,
quarterback,
2 wide receivers, and you.
Because we know you're going to pick you, so we don't even have to say you have to pick a running back.
If you want to pick another running back, by all means, go for it.
Blocker. So you say a blocker, a quarterback, 2 receivers, and a running back? Okay. I will go. I already said my blocker. My quarterback would be Tom Brady.
I mean, got to go for the GOAT.
Yeah, I'll go Tom Brady, my quarterback. My receiver would be, that's tough. I think my receiver would be Calvin Johnson.
Megatron.
My receiver would be Calvin Johnson. And then I would switch one of the receivers. I would switch one of the receivers out for another running back alongside me. I would get Barry Sanders. So me, Barry Sanders, Calvin Johnson, Tom Brady, and Kevin Mowai.
That team's going undefeated in whatever backyard league they're going up against. Wow.
How when you first got put in Madden, how many times did you play as yourself a lot?
Yeah. Always.
Did you? Oh, another one. Since you were still playing in college when they had college football, how cool was it to see yourself in college football for the first time?
Oh
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was crazy. That was crazy. Yeah. But it was all right because, we was at East Carolina, so they didn't give us real good ratings.
You're the star player, though. Like, I remember specifically because I always looked it up. Yeah.
But if I get East Carolina and I play against Texas, Miami, Florida, we didn't stand a chance. So it was like,
yeah.
Next one.
So moving on. We talked about your favorite team to play against earlier, but was there one team that you just saw on the schedule and like, shit, we got to play them this week?
No, it wasn't like that. It was teams that I knew. Yeah, we playing them. It's finna be, hey, tie your chin strap up. It's finna be a bloodbath. It's finna be a bang out. And that's when we used to play the Steelers. We always knew that. Yeah.
I mean, you were going up against like Troy Polamalu, the James Harrison. That was just a ridiculous defense to go up and play against. Who's like the hardest hitting defensive tackle that you ever had to go up one-on-one against?
The tackle? I'm not sure. I don't like that question.
They don't.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
All right, that's it. No, I feel like at the same, you never got lit up because you'd always either run past them or
really
they get his ankles. But anyway, though, so let's that's it. That's what we got. So obviously we've talked the coffee shop. Is there anything else you want to promote before we wrap this thing up?
Nah, that's pretty much about it.
All right, so we're going to be working together on this coffee shop thing. So for me, for Harrison, for Chris Johnson, we're out.
Yeah. Peace.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with me all the way to the end. I just want to once again thank the sponsor of the show, Living.fit. If you're looking to better yourself, make sure you go to download the app or visit the website Living.fit today.